Schedule a Zoom with me at GCExperts.com/Zoom.
Are you there?
Yeah. Hey,
How are we doing?
fantastic, Michael. Nice to meet you.
Good. Good to meet you too.
How can I help you?
Oh, I just ran across you guys' program today, checking it out, and just went through the steps and wanted to hear what you had to say, I guess.
Sure. Well, I always say there's 30 years of stuff in my head, actually 35 now that I think about it. The best way to get it out is ask questions.
Sure. So you guys are putting on like a program, a couple of day program or something like that, or you have different courses. I wasn't sure how to compile all the information you had there online.
Well, what business are you in?
In short, I'm in aggregate mining, rock crushing, construction. I've been in that industry my entire life. I have done a lot of different things throughout that within that industry. So, and within that industry, you learn quite a few trades and skills. You're not just that one thing. So I have a lot of things of abilities that I have within me. I've run my own business for 30 some years. I've had turmoils, ups, downs, man. I've been broke so many times I don't know how to say it. It's been a hard road for me, without a doubt. That's why when I saw your guys' program, and I've done some government work before, largely being a subcontractor for a contractor that had the government jobs. I worked a lot for Slutton and companies of that sort. Over the years, in which, in general, when I was doing those jobs, I made really good money. And I knew anytime I was doing a public works type contract, I was increasing my bid quite a bit. So I steered away from, at one point, I tried to get set up with the government, and it just seemed to be just too difficult to do, and I backed out of it. I had too much going on at the time.
Yeah, well, it's not intuitive. That's the biggest problem with like sam.gov as an example. Have you heard of sam.gov?
I haven't. It was quite a few years ago. I'm talking 20 some years ago is when I was last looking at doing it. And I don't know if some.
Well, let me clarify a couple things. One is that when most people talk about government work or public work, what they really mean is city, state, county work, not federal. So when you were doing subcontracts, were you doing city, state, county?
I've done city, state, county, and federal work.
Oh, and federal work. Okay. My entire career is based on federal government only, because there's some unique things that apply to federal government contracts that don't apply to city, state, county. One of which is what I call no risk bidding for federal contracts, no risk federal contracts. Now, most people in the construction industry, that's a foreign concept that there could be construction, but no risk. And what happens is it comes down to the rule book. The rule book is the Federal Acquisition Regulations. It's the rule book that the government uses to acquire construction goods and services and pretty much everything else. There's a unique FAR clause that you and I are going to talk about later in this conversation. But I want to start with the concept of a SAM registration, since that idea was new to you. Now, you look like you're in my age bracket. Back in the old days, it used to be called CCR, Central Contractors Registration. And then about 7-8 years ago, they switched over to this new thing called sam.gov. SAM stands for System for Award Management.
Right.
And it's a registration. It's not a licensing thing. It's simply telling them, this is who I am. This is my address. This is my phone number. This is my bank account. If you give me a contract, this is how you pay me.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. But you and I are going to play a little game. And I'm going to give you the answer to the question before I ask you the question. So the answer is SAM registration. Ready to play?
Sure.
There's one thing and one thing only required to be a federal construction contractor, and that is
A U.S. citizen?
now. Remember, I'm going to give you the answer to the question before I ask you the question. The answer is SAM registration. Ready to play?
SAM registration. Okay.
One thing and one thing only required to be a federal contractor, and that is a
SAM registration.
So if you sell cake mix to the Navy so they can make cakes on ships, what do you need?
A SAM registration.
If you sell bullets or aircraft parts or even construction goods and services, what do you need?
SAM registration. Got it.
Okay, now we're going to play the other part of the game. If you and I walk through a neighborhood and I point to the top of a power pole and I say that's a transformer, you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Okay, what state are you in?
Nevada.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1. The transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician in the state of Nevada. Now, that has nothing to do with the company that got the job. All they needed was a SAM registration. But you'd have to hire a licensed electrician in the state of Nevada to replace the transformer for scenario number 1.
Okay.
Now let's go scenario number 2. The transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician. Well, now any licensed electrician from any state can go into Nevada and replace that transformer. Understand that this is federal eminent domain property. There's no such thing as a state inspector going on to a federal job. Okay? Again, nothing to do with the company that got the job. Scenario number 3. The transformer shall be replaced. Now that literally means that you and I can go out there on a Saturday and replace the transformer.
Right.
And it gets written all 3 ways all the time. You just have to read the requirements and comply with them. But it's because of that I can tell you I've done $1 billion worth of work for the federal government. Everything from wind tunnels for NASA, water treatment plants for the Air Force, to kitchen renovations for the National Park Service.
Right.
I've never had a license of any kind other than a driver's license.
Okay.
Okay. Now, are you in front of a computer?
Yes.
Okay. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to pull something up.
All right.
But before we do that, I want to talk about quotes. Okay. If you go down the street and you give out 100 or 1,000 quotes, is there anything legal associated with them, or are they just quotes?
Just quotes.
That's right. They're just quotes. Now I want you to Google FAR, FAR 13.004.
Yeah, I gotta open this a second.
That's it. It's no problem. We're going to take, I got nothing to do this afternoon. We're going to take our time. FAR, FAR 13.004. I don't want you to click on anything. I just want you to read me the first result.
The legal effect of quotations.
Okay. On the federal government, remember I said the federal acquisition regulations, that's the rule book. We just Googled one of the rules in the rule book. We Googled the rule associated with quotes. And in your world, you give out quotes and there's nothing legal associated with them. But the moment you Google quotes for a federal contract, it says legal effect, implying that there's something legal, right?
Legal effects, yeah.
Okay. So that's different. That's all I want you to agree to right now is that that's different.
My takeaway is that dealing with the government would be different as far as what I say may be legal and binding.
And that's right. Compared to the world that you've been operating out of. Okay. Now, I want you to click on that link and you're going to see a paragraph there. I want you to read the first sentence only out loud and stop at the period.
quotation is not an offer, and consequently, cannot be used by the government to form a binding contract.
Okay. That's different than your world. And let me explain why. If you do go out and give somebody a quote and you sign it and then they sign it, what do you have?
I have somewhat of a binding contract.
That's right. And that means that the other party can turn your quote into a contract. But the first sentence of this federal acquisition regulation says that the federal government cannot take your quote and turn it into a contract. All I'm asking right now is that's different, right? Okay, now I want you to read the second sentence out loud.
Therefore, issuance of the government of an order in response to the supplier's quotation does not establish a contract.
Okay, now this is a little bit of legalese. This is Congress putting together this stuff, but what their concern was is that not every procurement official or contracting officer would understand sentence number one. And they're concerned that one day you might turn in a quote to the federal government and they might turn it into a contract, even though sentence number one says they can't. So, what they're saying in sentence number two is that if that ever happens to you, don't worry about it. It's still not a contract. And now that I've explained that to you, do you agree that that's what that says?
Just going over it one more time.
Sure.
It's understood that it's not established as a contract at that point.
But even if they turn it into a contract, it's still not a contract, right? Okay. Now I want you to read the rest of the paragraph out loud.
The order is an offer by the government to the supplier to buy certain supplies or services upon specified items and conditions. A contract is established when the supplier accepts the offer.
Okay. In this situation, who is the supplier?
Supplier is me.
That's right. So doesn't that sound weird when you accept the offer? Like you turned in an offer. What does this mean? I accept the offer. Right. Okay.
Honestly,
I'm sorry?
I like that.
Oh, yeah. It's going to get even better. So let's talk about how this works in the real world. Let's say that the National Park Service wants to build a 200 square foot tiny house to put their rangers up for the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They solicit the job. And then me as a federal contractor, I come along and I look at that job and I go, I turn in a bid for $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Can they take my quote, my bid? Can they take my quote and turn it into a contract?
It's going to be turned into an offer, wouldn't it? Not a contract.
No, it's just a quote. I'm just quoting $100,000 to build a 200 square foot tiny house.
Right.
What does sentence number one say?
It's not a contract.
That's right. They can't turn it into a contract. Okay. But the rest of that paragraph said they have to offer it back to me. What that literally looks like in the real world is they call me and they say, hey, we got your quote for $100,000 to build the 200 square foot tiny house. Would you please accept an offer from us and accept it so that we can turn it into a contract and get the job done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They have to offer it back to me. I know that sounds weird, but they have to offer my offer back to me.
Yeah, it's easy to understand that. It's just that we haven't done it that way, and that's fine, but I like that fact.
Okay. But hold on. When they do that, you have four options, and I want you to write these down.
Okay. All right.
Option number one, you can accept. Hell yeah, we'll take the job.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you can withdraw. Sorry, we're too busy. Move on to the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, you can negotiate. Hey, I know I turned that thing in for $100,000. I need to change my bid to 130.
Is that something that is generally done? I mean,
Heck yeah.
I would do it every time.
Okay. Number four, you can stall. Sorry, I wasn't expecting your call. Can I call you back in 24 to 48 hours?
Right.
Okay. Now, when they call me, I stall. I always stall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do
I'm sorry?
do they always call?
It could be an email,
Okay.
but they have to contact you.
Okay. They do make contact.
Okay. Now, after I stall, I get off the phone with them. And now I'm getting on the phone, and you and I were going to role play here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you right now, there's no wrong answers. We're just role playing. There's no test at the end of this thing. Okay. So let's say, Michael, I look on Google Maps. Let's say this job, what's the nearest big city to you?
From Las Vegas, Phoenix, LA.
No. You told me you were in Nevada. I didn't know what city you were in.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Are you in Las Vegas? Okay, fine. So I get on Google Maps and I start looking for people that build 200 square foot tiny house. And the conversation sounds like this. Hey, Michael, my name is Sean. I'm a national federal contractor. I do everything from wind tunnels, water treatment plants to kitchen renovations. I'm calling you today about this 200 square foot tiny house that the National Park Service wants to build. And when I looked on Google Maps, it looks like it's about a half hour from your office. Is that the type of work that you do, Michael?
Yes.
Okay, what I'd like to do is send over the plans and specifications to your email. When you get them, you don't even have to open and look at them. I'm already familiar with the job. Just call me and I'll walk you through it step by step. So I send over the plans and specs to you. You get back on the phone and I say, hey, Michael, based on what we just talked about, and we went over the plan. I'm not asking you to bid every 2x4, every shingle, every electrical outlet. I'm just looking for, in your experience, for a 200 square foot tiny house. If you had to give me a price right now, that if I called you up 90 days from today and said, hey, Michael, we got the job, that we'd be close enough to negotiate something that makes sense for both of us, what would that off the cuff number be in your experience? And so, Michael, I'm asking you to give me a price to build a 200 square foot tiny house. There's no wrong answer.
No wrong answer. 200 grand.
Okay. Holy shit. I turned my bid in for 100. The guy that knows how to do it is telling me 200. And I go, okay, well, I'll get back to you. And I really appreciate you giving me a number off the cuff. And then I'm calling the contracting officer and I'm withdrawing my bid. Okay. Give me another price. How much, Michael, to build the 200 square foot tiny house?
125.
Holy shit. I turned this thing in for 100. This guy's telling me 125,000. I might just withdraw my bid or I might try and negotiate depending on what I think I can get. Give me another scenario. How much?
In my typical negotiating skills, I'll typically go to the fact that, well, I don't know a lot of aspects of the job. I need to get this more defined and find out some certain parameters rather than just say I'm going to go for the $100,000.
Hold on a second. Right now, we're just role playing. We're not talking the real world. You've given me a super high number. You've given me a number that's close to what I bid it for. But I want you to think about this for a second. If I call a guy that builds 200 square foot tiny houses, we're talking not much larger than a shed in your backyard. How much is he likely to say when I say how much to build the 200 square foot tiny house?
I've seen those things and they go for around $80,000.
Okay. But if they go for around 80,000 retail, what do they cost to build?
Let's just say in general, it's going to cost 40,000.
Okay. So he might say 50,000, even though I turned my bid in for 100,000. And in that case, I go, hey, Michael, okay, I got to get with my team. I'll probably be calling you back this afternoon to get more serious about the numbers. Then I'm getting off the phone with him. I'm calling the contracting officer and I'm accepting. Okay. But the question to you is, Michael, if you can withdraw every bid you ever turned in, what is your risk for turning in a bid?
Yeah, I'm running zero.
Zero risk. Okay. That federal acquisition regulation, there is nobody on the planet that talks about it, because you got to be a guy like me that's done 1,000 federal contracts to really understand what that means for a contractor.
Mm-hmm. I think it's huge, really.
It's a game changer.
Game changer. You can screw up. I've screwed up on a lot of bids trying to go back and get a little more out of it because I screwed up.
That's right.
And if there's something that gives you the whoa moment that says, hey, I can back out of this, I can throw them another price, that's priceless. You know?
That's why I have only played in the federal arena.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Yeah, it was something that just seemed way too far of a bar to jump for me to get into that years ago.
Well, I'm the guy that launches people into the federal government construction space. Look, you just got 15-minute dose of 28 hours of training.
Right.
That 3-day workshop,
mm-hmm.
every minute of it is like what you and I just went through.
Right. Right. Okay. Where are we at next?
Whatever you want to talk about, man. It's like I said in the beginning, there's 35 years of shit in my head. The only way to get it out is ask questions.
Right. Is there a format, a search engine, a something, an AI that helps you find these contracts?
I created it.
Okay, nice. So you
It's
have
called Bid Tracker. Go to bidtracker.com. There's a 2-minute video there. I'll wait for you to watch it.
how do you spell that?
BID, like Delta, TRAAKER.com.
Okay. Is that so that's tied to Sam?
It's tied to like 38 inputs or something.
Okay. 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 Nice. Nice. And so through your program you gain access to Bid Tracker.
You got it.
Is that a lifetime access?
No, in fact, Bid Tracker cost us $250,000 to put together, and it costs about $25,000 a month to operate. I only sell 3 things. Number one, I sell the workshop, the training that I was talking about, that 3-day workshop. That's $5,000. The next thing I sell is a SAM registration. We can get you SAM registered in about a week, $700. And then the third thing I sell is the membership program. But the membership program in and of itself is 3 things. Number one, it's access to Bid Tracker. Number 2, it's access to me 24/7. Any question you have, any problem you have,
That was
I
with
solve.
SAM registration?
I'm sorry?
That was with SAM registration?
No, the SAM registration is $700. That's the second thing that I sell. The third thing that I sell is the membership program, but the membership program is 3 things.
Okay.
It's Bid Tracker, it's access to me, and it's all the paperwork, the CQC plans, technical proposals, environmental protection plans, safety plans, subcontract agreements, purchase orders, all the paperwork it takes to be a federal contractor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are the majority of contractors you're dealing with essentially subcontracting all these jobs?
Correct.
Okay. Throughout. Um, do they run into contractor qualifications, insurance, that spiel?
Not at the margins that we're using in federal contracts. Like, in other words, if I'm in it at $100,000 and the local guy that builds tiny homes is in it at $50,000, if he doesn't have insurance, I'll buy him insurance if the deal is right.
Okay. All right. All right. Got it. Okay.
But in exchange, I'm saying, let me know who your foreman is. When he's out there, I want 3 pictures in the morning. I want 3 pictures in the evening. I want a daily report at the end of the day. And if somebody comes out there and says, hey, who represents GCExperts? He raises his hand and he says, I do. Like, I'm wanting extra shit when I put a little more money in.
Okay. What was your third program? I kind of cut you off there. Sorry.
We sell 3 things. It's $5,000 for the training, $700 for the SAM registration, and $600 a month for the membership program.
And that covers the bid tracker on the system.
Correct. Did you watch that video yet?
I've watched several videos.
No, I'm talking about the bid tracker video that you just pulled up.
No, I did not.
Well, I'll wait. It's only 2 minutes long. Hit play. I want you to see that thing in action.
I don't think I can get to that without losing you right now.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, look, I bid over 20,000 federal contracts over my career. And what I realized when I was building Bid Tracker is that I only need 2 things right now if I'm going to decide to bid a job or not. Number 1, I need to know when is it due. And number 2, because if it was due yesterday, I'm not interested, right? And then number 2, I need to know what the hell they want. Bid Tracker puts that information in front of you in seconds. You just click a sync button and it syncs the job right to your computer and it sorts it by the date that it's due.
Okay. All right. I think I got the gist of everything now. Your workshop's $5,000. You get me set up on SAMs for $700 and $600 a month for the program.
Yeah, that's it.
How fast are guys getting jobs?
Typically within 90 days. But here's the deal. If you had to go into a room this afternoon and you had to talk about something for 2 hours, you had to teach something for 2 hours in a room of 30 guys, what would you teach? It could be a hobby. It could be something what are you an expert in that you could talk about for 2 hours?
Aggregates.
Okay, aggregates. Can you imagine that there would be 5 people out of the 30 sitting in the front row and everything you said about aggregates, the size of the rock, this type of rock, number 68, number 42 stone, that they'd be sitting there going, oh yeah, I know that. Of course, we do that all the time. That's exactly what we put on road base. Can you imagine there'd be 5 know-it-alls in the room?
Yeah, I believe that.
Okay. Can you agree that there'd be 5 people in the back of the room going, what the hell is he talking about? I've driven by a quarry, but I have no idea how you would ever apply any of that. Can you agree there'd be 5 people in the back of the room that have no idea what you're talking about?
All day long.
Okay. But can you imagine that there'd be 20, the most of the people in the room that would be sitting there going, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Wow, we should really implement that. That's a great idea. Can you imagine most people would be there to learn something?
Yes,
It's the same way in my stuff. Okay. I've got 5 people that have gone through my program and won the first job they ever bid. I've got most people in my program, it takes them about 90 days. But I've also got 5 people on the other side that call me up after 6 months and say, I haven't won a job yet. Those to me are the most interesting because what is your risk for turning in a bid?
Right.
0. So the first question I ask them is, how many bids have you turned in? And the answer always comes back, well, I bid 3 or I bid 4 or I bid 5. And I go, what the hell? That just tells me that they need a re-education in the risk for turning in a bid, or maybe they need some help filling out the paperwork. Lamart was a perfect example of this. One of my clients called me up after 6 months, haven't won a job yet. I said, look, what's the real issue? And he goes, I don't know what some of this stuff is. I said, great, here's your homework. I want you to bid 4 jobs each week that you have no idea what it is or how much it would cost. I want you to turn the bid in with some number that you just make up. Okay.
Right.
And so he just did what I told him to do. 3 weeks later, hey, I got one. Great. Here's the subs you should look up. Go get some numbers. It's a winner. It's a year later now, and he's gotten 17 federal contracts.
Right.
And I have him on video saying that.
Okay. I is telling him to do that just as in a sense to get the practice of getting the
That's
job.
right. You're exactly right, because he can withdraw every single one. You hit the nail on the head. I was just trying to get him to get in the process of doing the work.
Right. Okay. Let me ask you a question: Is how fast do they respond, or do they respond?
Typically, they don't respond when you turn your bid in, but sometimes they go, "Okay, we got your bid," something like that. But I think what you're asking for is what's the incumbency rate? I don't know, but anyway, how long it takes them to award a job? That's typically about 3 weeks.
3 weeks, right? So, and it's still you have the ability to decline it. So
Absolutely.
you're really in a situation where you're going to get too many jobs at once that you can't handle.
That's right.
You just throwing mud out there and hoping some shit sticks. Basically, that's good. I guess it's definitely a learning curve there because I just see I too much want to be on site physically bid these jobs. I think I had just a gut thing about me, which I don't have a problem with.
I understand that, and you're not the first look, I've been teaching this for 15 years. You're not the first person that's walked in and said, "Oh my God, if it's not done by me, it's not done right. If I'm not there watching it, I'm too nervous. I'm too, too much risk, too much risk." And I'm just telling you that within a couple of federal contracts set up the way that I tell them to. In fact, you'd be better prepared to try to tell me that after you go through the workshop, because once you go through the workshop and you see exactly how we handle these things, I mean, look, it's 28 hours of training. I can't sit here and explain to you all that's in that thing, but I have turned people around like you before from this idea that I need to be there.
Okay. Okay. I'm just saying, a lot of this is hard because it's in me in a sense of experience. I've got over 35 years in this industry. Did a lot of jobs, a lot of projects, and a lot of them I was pretty happy to walk away from. If I just don't see the potential, if I see too many problems involved with it, too much management, too much something for the money, it's not a good go for me.
Yep.
And sometimes I don't know that until I'm on site and I talk with the contractors and I learn certain things about the project with the contractor.
I'm not going to discourage you from going out and shaking people's hands. I have done that hundreds of times in my career.
Okay. Good. Okay. Have we covered most everything?
No, you haven't even scratched the surface. I mean, I'll tell you this much. When you scheduled a Zoom with me, there was a video that was texted to you or emailed to you that said, "Watch this video prior to your Zoom with Sean."
Right.
I know for a fact that you didn't watch that video.
No,
But
I was gonna say I got a little lost and I couldn't find the video that you wanted to watch. It said watch this video, push the links, took me back to the website, and I started watching the website videos. I
That's okay. It's totally okay. But you asked a question. Hey, is there anything else? After we get off this Zoom, I'm gonna text you that video, and if you want to sit down and watch it. The reason that video is so important is because that contractor, that guy, his name was Michael. He was totally prepared for this conversation. He and I got on a Zoom. He had like 50 questions, and he just peppered me with them. I mean, one after another, rapid fire. And I answered every single one of them without hesitation. One thing you'll notice in that video is there are no edits. There's no cuts. You'll never see my hand go like, and then, pop up here, where obviously I cut something out.
Yeah.
Um, that's just how good I am. I know all the answers. And I would encourage anybody who wants to work with me to watch that video. In fact, if you pull up my website, GCExperts.com, just straight GCExperts.com, it's the second video on that page. It looks like a guy shooting questions at me with a gun.
Okay. All right. I'll take a look at that when we're done here.
Yep.
Yeah, if you could text me that link would be great.
No problem at all.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. If need be, could we get another Zoom call if I need some questions?
You're going to have my personal cell phone number when I text you that video, and you could just pick up the phone and call me anytime. I'll take your call.
Okay, fantastic. That'd be great. All right.
Yep.
Where are you located at?
Austin, Texas.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's best I watch that video. I'm used to these Zoom calls with companies and stuff. They usually throw their pitch out there. You seem more oriented to.
When you watch my videos, you will never hear me say, so if you get in by the end of February, if you buy now, or here's the 7 key steps that, and fuck, contractors could see right through all that shit.
I'm buying that shit.
I can see.
You're a straight shooter. I like that. We're all the same, man. It's just what it is. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, no, if I can get the help and opportunity to get in with the government and do these type of operations, that'd be fantastic.